Imagine a mind so vast, so sharp. It sees through every lie, every illusion. Now imagine living among those who worship these very lies. It's not a gift. It's a curse. Arthur Schopenhauer once said, "The more unintelligent a man is, the less mysterious existence seems to him." But what happens when existence reveals too many mysteries, all at once? What happens when you see too much? Genius isn't a glow that attracts. It's a fire that burns. And often it burns the one who carries it the most. Have you ever wondered why some of the greatest minds, Nietzsche, Tesla, Kafka, ended up alone, rejected, or misunderstood? It wasn't weakness. It wasn't arrogance. It was survival. Intelligence at its peak isolates because it demands truth over comfort, depth over noise, clarity over illusion. And truth, by its nature, is isolating. In a world addicted to easy answers, those who ask dangerous questions become dangerous themselves. But here's the real tragedy. The higher you climb in understanding, the fewer people you meet along the way. Is the price of seeing reality losing humanity? Stay with me, if you dare to see what few are willing to face. Arthur Schopenhauer believed that to think deeply was to suffer deeply. The shallow live on the surface, but the thinker dives, swims, and sometimes drowns in the abyss of existence. Modern psychology supports this. Highly intelligent individuals are more prone to anxiety, depression, and existential dread. The same cognitive abilities that solve complex problems can also magnify life's absurdities. A 2018 study published in Personality and Individual Differences found a strong correlation between high IQ and overexcitabilities, intense emotional, intellectual, and sensory experiences. In simple words, to feel more, to think more, is often to hurt more. Schopenhauer argued that the majority are trapped in what he called the will to live, an endless, unconscious striving. But the rare few who awaken to consciousness are cursed to see the futility behind it. This awareness isolates. This awareness wounds. While others chase pleasure and distraction, the awakened mind wrestles with the unbearable weight of meaninglessness. Can a mind, so painfully aware, ever find peace among those still asleep? Or is loneliness the inevitable tax of deep perception? The world praises genius, but only from a safe distance. Up close, it fears it. Arthur Schopenhauer wrote bitterly about the hostility of the masses toward those who think differently. To the average mind, the extraordinary feels threatening, a mirror reflecting their own limitations. History whispers this truth. Socrates was sentenced to death for corrupting the minds of the youth, but what he really did was awaken them. Kafka lived ignored, his works barely read until after death. Tesla died alone, his visions too wild for a world obsessed with conformity. We crave innovation but crucify the innovators. We worship rebellion but silence the rebels. Psychologists call it the tall poppy syndrome, a phenomenon where people attack those who stand out, who rise above the field. It's easier to cut down the tall than to stretch oneself taller. And so, the brilliant learn a cruel lesson. Visibility invites hostility. Is it any wonder that those who see the farthest often choose to walk alone? Maybe the tragedy isn't that great minds isolate. Maybe the real tragedy is that they had to. Isolation isn't always a choice. Sometimes it's an act of self-preservation. Arthur Schopenhauer retreated from society not out of hatred, but necessity. He knew that endless noise, shallow conversation, and petty minds could suffocate higher thought. Modern neuroscience backs him up. Solitude can boost creativity, emotional regulation, and even problem-solving. Studies from the Journal of Cognitive Neuroscience show that intentional solitude activates the brain's default mode network, the same network tied to introspection, imagination, and deep thinking. Isolation, when chosen, becomes a sanctuary, not a prison. There's a sharp difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is hunger. solitude is fasting. Loneliness wounds, solitude sharpens. Great minds don't withdraw because they despise others, they withdraw to hear themselves think, to create worlds unseen, to survive a reality that punishes sensitivity. But solitude is a double-edged sword. It protects the soul yet deepens the ache. Is it worth the silence if it costs the warmth of human connection? Or is the price of greatness always paid in loneliness? Genius is not a crown. It is a burden, brilliant and brutal. Arthur Schopenhauer saw intelligence as both a blessing and a silent curse. To understand life too deeply is to become estranged from it. The same mind that sees beauty in complexity also feels the unbearable heaviness of existence. The same soul that dreams of lifting humanity often collapses under the weight of its indifference. Today's world still misunderstands its visionaries. We crave innovation yet demand conformity. We romanticize brilliance yet fear those who live it. And so, the truly awakened continue to walk alone. Not because they are better, not because they are broken, but because their light blinds those who refuse to open their eyes. Ask yourself, is the isolation of the brilliant mind a tragedy? Or is it the inevitable cost of seeing what others cannot or will not see? Maybe true connection is rare because truth itself is rare. And maybe that's why those who seek it must often walk through the dark, alone. What we explored today is only a sliver of a deeper truth, a glimpse into the lonely brilliance that shapes the world from the shadows. If you're still here, listening, reflecting, then maybe you too carry a piece of that brilliance. A piece that feels both like a gift and a burden. Thank you for staying, for daring to think beyond comfort, for daring to feel the loneliness of truth. If this reflection stirred something inside you, you're invited to continue with a comment, a thought, or even just a silent nod to yourself tonight. There are more paths to walk, more questions to ask, more truths to uncover. And I'll be here waiting at the crossroads. Like and subscribe only if it feels real, only if it feels like home. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and remember, sometimes walking alone is the surest sign you're headed somewhere worth going.